Welcome to the original Yearbook podcast, brought to you by your local Midwest Yearbook representative, Jamie Silver, proudly representing Herc Jones Yearbooks. Jamie shares his lifelong passions for yearbook and photography to bring you inspiration, how-tos, and timely reminders to support your publication. Please sit back, enjoy, and remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future episodes.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the December episode of the Yearbook Podcast. For this month, I'm going to share a bunch of demonstrations on topics that have come up at several other schools that I want to share with everyone. And to see those topics, you can look below and simply click to jump ahead to the topic that you'd find most helpful. So to get started, we're going to start with one called Send and Sell. And this one is a tool to really help you with some targeted messaging to help sell your yearbooks. So this one's about 2 minutes, I think. I'm going to start this, and I'll be right back.
Send and Sell combines the power of e-business and eDesign, allowing you to send promotional email messages to your school community in just a few clicks. The process starts by importing a master list of names from eBusiness that includes email addresses. Next, you create a Send and Sell campaign designed to promote book sales and/or ad sales. Then you create the message you'd like to send using one of the pre-written templates or by creating your own customized message. Next, you select your list of recipients. You can target non-buyers and filter the list by grade and even by the number of times a student appears in the yearbook. Before sending the message, you preview it to make sure you have it just right. The preset templates include a link back to your school's Yearbook Order Center site so that it's easy for your buyers to respond and make the purchase. Send and Sell in eDesign boosts the power of your yearbook promotional efforts, helping you get a copy of the yearbook into the hands of as many students as possible.
So as you can see, that's kind of an overview. Now the second video is actually how to create a campaign, so it's a little bit more detailed. I'm going to play this for you and I'll be back.
In this tutorial, we'll look at creating a Send and Sell campaign for promoting book and/or ad sales. Send and Sell campaigns can be set up by advisors or editors, but the final message can only be sent out by the advisor. There are a few preliminaries you should handle before creating your first campaign. Send and Sell works off of a master list of names that includes email addresses. If you've not yet imported a name list through eBusiness that includes your student information along with email addresses, you should do this first. See the tutorials listed on screen for more information about this process. Since Send and Sell uses sale information recorded in eBusiness to target non-buyers, you'll want to be sure you have up-to-date information from eBusiness. In the Master List area, click the Update from eBiz button to pull in the latest information. Send and Sell email messages include the name and address of the school in the email footer. So before your first use of Send and Sell, go to the Preferences area in Book Setup and enter the school name and address as you wish for it to appear. Send and Sell messages can also include a custom image or logo along with the email. If you wish to utilize this functionality, go to the Images section of the library and locate any image or graphic that you'd like to accompany your Send and Sell messages. Right-click on the image or graphic and choose Select for Send and Sell. You can choose more than one image or graphic. Once these preliminaries are handled, you're ready to begin. Click the Send and Sell button at the top of the eDesign interface, then click to create a new campaign. On the first screen, designate whether the campaign will promote yearbook sales or ad sales. Then enter the name of the campaign, which is only visible to you, and the subject line for the email that will go out to all the recipients. Then click Next. On the message screen, choose the header and the desired graphic color. Then select one of the preset message templates. The text appears in the field to the right where it's completely editable. Be aware that the information in brackets represents dynamic text that will automatically populate from the master list information. You should use spaces or punctuation around these bracketed fields just as if they were words. If you designated graphics to be used in Send and Sell messages, you can activate one of those graphics here. Then click Next. In the Recipients area, click New List. You then create a recipient list by filtering your master list information. You can filter by coverage information and grade if you wish, but for standard promotional messages, you'll probably not apply these filters. You would want to make sure that the filter for bought a book or bought an ad is set to no if you're promoting book or ad sales. This will ensure that messages are sent only to those who have not yet purchased. Once you've set any desired filters, click to Create Recipient List. You'll then see the recipient area populated with the names and email addresses. Then click Next. On the Review and Send screen, you can review your message as it will appear with the dynamic text filling in. You can click on any name along the left to see the message update with the data for that individual. If any changes are desired, you can walk back through the setup steps by clicking the previous button or on any of the screen names at the top. To send a test message, click the Send to Myself button, enter your email address, and click Send Preview. You'll receive the sample message in your email in just a few minutes. If at any point you want to stop before sending, you can click Save and Close, and then come back to the campaign setup later. When the advisor is ready to send the promotional message, he or she clicks Send to all recipients. And that's the basics of using the Send and Sell feature in eDesign to promote yearbook and/or ad sales. For information about some additional features, see the tutorial listed on screen.
So if yearbook sales or ad sales is something that you work on at your school, hopefully you can see that this Send and Sell is a really great tool to help you with that campaign. Mark mentioned in that video about the master list. Hopefully you have that set up. If you don't, please let me know and I'll be happy to help you get that set up because you do need that information to drive this option as Mark showed us. But any questions about Send and Sell, master list, please reach out and I'll be more than happy to give you a hand. Now, switching gears, we're going to talk about the production side for the last 3 videos of this podcast. And the first one, it might be simple, but I'm going to share with you anyway because I've had a few schools contact me and ask about how to set up character styles. And character styles, my analogy is always kind of like your radio presets in your car. It lets you preset, the headline, for example, the font used, the point size, leading, color, all those little details. So you don't have to remember to put that in, and you simply choose headline. So I'm going to show this quick video here to help set up and really apply these character styles.
Character styles are preset text formatting definitions that can be set up by your advisor or editor. Character styles make the formatting of text quick, easy, and accurate. In this tutorial, we'll look at how you can put character styles to use. I'm here on a spread in Page Design. I want to format a sidebar story that will go on this page, and I just received an email from the copywriter with the text of the story. In this case, we'll copy and paste text from the email, but you could use character styles with any text that you type. I'll select the text in the message, right-click and choose Copy. I'll then switch back over to Page Design, grab the text tool, and draw a text frame. My cursor is inside the text frame, so I'll right-click again and choose Paste. I know that this formatting is not what my sidebar story should look like. I could try to remember how the text is supposed to be formatted, but lucky for me, the advisor has set up character styles to make the formatting easy. I'll select the text that I want to format. In this case, I'll right-click in the text frame and choose Select All. I'll then go to the Character Styles menu in the control panel at the bottom. There are several preset character styles that are loaded by default into eDesign. Even if your advisor or editor has not created any custom styles, you should still see a few standard ones here. From the list of character styles, I'll choose the custom style Sidebar Copy. And just like that, my text is formatted as it should be. I know that in our stories we have a different style for names that appear in the copy, so I'll select a name, go to the Character Styles menu, and choose Sidebar Names. As you can see, using character styles can make your text formatting much easier, faster, and more accurate. If your advisor or editor have not yet created any character styles for your book, talk with them about the possibility of putting this feature to use.
So as Mark shared there, it's a great way to automate, especially if you need to get text in from an email, as Mark shared with you there, Google Docs, or any other form of bringing text in and I have to rekey it. Simply copy and paste, bring it in, and then use character styles to format it to fit your desired fonts and all that for the yearbook. So again, hope you found that helpful on character styles. If you have any questions about applying them, or for the advisors and editors listening, how to set up the initial character styles to fit your yearbook rather than the defaults like Mark showed us, please feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to help you with that. The next topic we're going to talk about, again on the production side, is how to edit images directly in eDesign. So for those of you listening who use InDesign, obviously you're going to use Photoshop or something like that. And for those of you listening who use eDesign, you're also welcome to use Photoshop. And Photoshop is kind of the gold standard, right? It's an awesome program to manipulate photos. But for whatever reason, maybe it's not available to you, we wanted to build in some basic editing tools directly into the program. So I always like to say, if you do have Photoshop, that's probably the best, and save it as a JPEG or a PNG for a transparent background, bring it in to eDesign. But if you do need to do some basic Photoshop-like tasks, we do have some of those built right into the program. So I want to share that with you here in a short video, and I'll be right back.
eDesign provides a powerful set of built-in image editing tools. In this tutorial, we'll cover an overview of these tools. You can launch an image into the eDesign image editor from the image library or from the library panel in Page Design. In this example, I'm in the Page Design area, and I'll open the Images section of the library panel. When I locate the image that I'd like to edit and hover my mouse cursor over the image, I see a pencil icon in the upper left corner. Clicking this pencil icon will open this image in the image editor. I could also right-click on the image and choose Edit Image. eDesign then generates a temporary version of the image and passes it off to the image editor. The changes that you make in the image editor will not affect the original version of your image. When the image editor opens, you'll see along the left side the various editing options: cutout background, color splash, red eye correction, color filters, and exposure. When I click on one of these options, the related editing tools and controls for that effect appear. Along the top of the interface is the zoom slider, which allows you to zoom in on the image. When you're zoomed in on an image, you can use the pan feature to move the image around within the window. You can click the pan button to the right of the zoom slider and your cursor will appear as a hand. You can then click and drag on the image to move it around within the window. There's also a great shortcut that will make panning even easier. When you're using one of the editing tools and you'd like to reposition the image in the window, you can press and hold the space bar. This will give you the pan tool on the fly, and you can click and drag to reposition the image. When you release the space bar, you're returned to the tool that you were previously using. To the left of the zoom slider are the buttons to undo or redo recent actions. I'll jump ahead to a completed color splash effect. For more information about the color splash effect, see the tutorial listed on screen. When you've completed a particular effect, you have the option to apply changes or discard changes. Applying changes updates the temporary image that you're working on and allows you to switch to another of the effect areas. Choosing to discard changes would take the image back to the way it appeared when you first began applying this effect. When you're ready to exit the image editor, you should use the buttons in the upper right. Save and Return will save the changes made to your image. When you've completed your edits and you're ready to exit the image editor, it's not necessary to click Apply Changes before clicking Save and Return. In fact, clicking both buttons causes a duplicate saving process and could make saving the image take longer. When you're done with an edit, you can just click Save and Return. Cancel and Return would cancel all changes made in the image editor and return you to eDesign. I'll choose Save and Return. Depending on the size of the image and the complexity of the changes, you may see a progress bar like this one as the image is processed. When the process is complete, the edited image will appear in the image library. Back in the image library, you'll notice that the original image now has a purple highlight around it. This is an indication to you that there are edited versions of the image in the library. Let's jump ahead in time to when a few more versions of the image have been created. If I want to see all edited versions of an image, I can right-click and choose Filter All Edited Versions. This reveals the original image and all the versions of that image that have been created. If I wanted to filter the image library for all edited images, I can use the Filter By menu and choose All Edited Images. If I just want to see the edited versions that I have created, I can choose My Edited Images. One last thing. Let's say I use this edited version on a page in my book. The image version that was used on the page would have the normal in-use tag. All other versions of the image have this tag, indicating that a version of the image is in use. This is a great additional feature to prevent you from accidentally using a duplicate version of the image elsewhere in your yearbook. And that's the basics of using the eDesign image editor. The additional tutorials listed on screen address the application of some specific effects.
So again, that's a really great tool for you guys to have, and it follows you around wherever you are. You don't need to install any program. It just travels with you in eDesign because we're in the cloud here. And a couple things I just want to point out that are really just important that you heard Mark say. It does not affect the original image file. So if you upload a picture and you do a cutout or black and white or sepia tone or color splash, there's going to be those versions of it. It'll always maintain the original file without any changes to it, and it'll circle it in that purple outline so that's the original. And as Mark showed, you can kind of filter and reveal all the versions of that original. So it's a really great way to work with a file and be able to always go back to the original if you need to. One last thing I want to mention, he mentioned the color splash, and if that's something you'd like to see more of, please let me know. I have some other details on how to do that and some tips and tricks, because it's one of those things like a cutout. It takes a lot of work to do well, and I have a couple of suggestions if that's something you're interested in doing, color splash or cutouts. Just do let me know. Now, moving on to the last demonstration of the day. This one is all about spread history, and it's a quick little video just to show you this really great little tool we've built in that lets you quite literally go back in time to every time you've saved a page or a spread. So I share this now because we're all working hard on our yearbook pages, and sometimes, if you're like me, we look at it and boy, I wish we could go back to a week ago when I had it this way, or someone else, maybe another student on staff, had the page looking a different way. View spread history actually lets you go back in time to every time the page was saved and return it to that view. So I'm going to share this video with you here, and I'll be right back.
The spread history function in eDesign allows you to revert back to a previously saved version of a spread. To access spread history, open a page in Page Design. Let's say, for example, a student saved this version of the spread, but the advisor or the editors decided that they liked the way the spread was before. No problem. Go to the File menu and choose View Spread History. In this window, you'll see a listing of all the previously saved versions of the spread listed by the day and time the save occurred, the person who saved the spread, as well as an indication of which pages were edited. To view one of the previously saved versions, select it in the list and choose Open. You'll then see the spread as it appeared at the time of the save. You then have a couple of choices. If you like this version, you can go to the File menu and choose Save as Current Version. That will make the version on the screen the new current version of the spread. If you don't want to keep this version, you can go to the File menu and choose Back to Most Recent, which would revert the spread back to the way it looked when you started. Or you can choose View Spread History again, choose a different version, and open it. This is a great safeguard that should give you peace of mind knowing that none of your work in eDesign is lost. You can always get back to the way a spread looked before. This can also be a great design tool. Create one version of the spread and save it. Then feel free to experiment with other versions. If you save each version of the spread, then you can review each version with spread history and pick the one you like best to keep. And that's how you use spread history in eDesign.
So for those of you listening who were already familiar with spread history, you've probably found it's been very helpful at times. As Mark just said there, I want to highlight it's a great way to experiment as well. Create a different version of a page and save it. So the key is to always do file save. As you saw in that list that Mark showed, it kind of gives you a timestamp of who saved what when, which is great because you can always go back to it and make it the current, or go back to basically go any direction as Mark shared there. So my advice is to do this. Make sure you save the page often for whatever reason, for just making sure it's saved if the internet goes out or whatnot, but also using spread history because it basically saves a copy every time you hit save. So it's a great option, just fail safe, and also, as he said, to experiment with different looks and be able to go back and forth to different versions of the page. So I hope you found that helpful today. With 2020 just around the corner here, I wanted to say, hope everything everything's going well. And as always, if there's anything I can do to help you as we round out the year here before we walk into 2020, please do let me know. Otherwise, have a great day, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Yearbook Podcast. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button, and as always, feel free to reach out to Jamie and his team anytime. Jamie can be reached directly at 920-965-6262 or 847-561-8525 or at jesilver@herfjones.com.